Speaker for Dragons. We're here, we're on, it's been a while. I heal trauma in women. I help them break through the root causes, get a guaranteed result. 100% risk-free. Check us out in 30 days to thrive. Okay, so this is your day, people. This used to be a daily regular, and I'm going to start again making this a daily regular as often as I can at 1 p.m. Eastern. When clocks fall back in Europe and in the USA, I'll probably make it either 12 noon or 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure yet. In any case, drop your questions. This is all about you. And while I'm waiting to see the questions scrolling, I have an example about drawing boundaries. My personal example. Because no is a full sentence. No is a boundary. Okay? So listen to this story. Maybe, what, a year ago? No, about 2 years ago. Drop your questions, people. No long story. 5 words are quite sufficient to get your questions answered. So while I wait, so here's the story of drawing a boundary. My mother's grandson, okay, 39 years old, has no respect for women, none whatsoever. And the entire household went on a trip somewhere. It was wonderful, I thought. Nobody in the house, just me and the dog. Okay, this bitch began leaving his dirty dishes in the sink. He would make mess on the kitchen floor and he wouldn't clean it up. Since I don't tolerate a dirty kitchen, after a while, I just decided, okay, this is really not my problem. I'm going to leave it. I washed my dirty dishes. He kept filling up the sink. You know what I did? And his responsibility is to empty the bin in the kitchen because he doesn't know about home-cooked food, so he only buys takeout. So the bin was full of his takeout boxes. I said, okay, and I made a decision. After 1 week, I took all of the sink full of dirty dishes, and by the way, there's a dishwasher. I took all of his dirty dishes, I put them in a box, and I put the box outside on the street for the garbage truck, as it's called here, to pick it all up. And the next day, I planned to take that bin full of garbage, which was stinking, which means it was turning worms in this tropical country. I planned to empty it on his bed. Later that evening, he came and the sink was empty. I cleaned the sink. But I noticed that he looked for the dishes. No dirty dishes. And lo and behold, he went outside. People, drop in your questions, please. I'm telling the story to wait for you to see the questions. And lo and behold, I happened to be sitting outside, and he went outside and he saw the dirty dishes by the roadside waiting for a truck. I mean, it was everything. It was pots, it was plates, it was cutlery, every single thing. He picked up the box and he brought it all back inside and he washed all of his dishes. But maybe his personal devil was telling him something, because he also emptied the garbage bin. The next day, I planned to empty it all on his bed. Whatever happened after that was not going to be my problem. That is how you create boundaries. You never give in. Once you draw the line and you say no, you never give in. Ladies, you turn a blind eye to the mess. If you have already said what you had to say, you have nothing more to say, and all you do is take action. That's it. Never add another word. You don't complain. You don't argue. You don't quarrel. You have nothing to say. That is another way of drawing boundaries, by taking action. Now listen, I'm not seeing any questions. I am going to start counting to, and your questions can only be 5 words. I am starting to count to 20 silently. If I don't see any questions by the time I get to 20, I am going to sign off. Okay? All right. So what else do I have to tell you all? Listen, 30 Days to Thrive is for you as well. It's risk-free, 30 days money-back guarantee. And this is where, drop in your questions, people. You have 5 words. And I'm counting down silently, by the way. And this is where, if you are facing a challenge right now, join. You have nothing to lose. Results are guaranteed. No, Khadija, that is not a question. How you deal with change? I don't need anybody's good afternoon either. Drop your 5-word question. But Khadija, I will tell you this. You deal with change by accepting it. Because life means change. Change happens every single day. You cannot avoid it. Therefore, you must accept it. And the best way to accept change is by changing how you look at it. Wayne Dyer has a fantastic quote which says, the more you change how you look at things, is the more those things change. And this has been my personal example and my personal experience. This is a fact. Because, for instance, you're working at a job, okay? Suddenly you hear that the company has been bought out. You know who the new boss is going to be. You hate her guts. She's a pain in the ass. And all of that stuff. Are you going to leave the job? You have options. You either leave the job or you decide you're going to work with the person. But how is that going to work? You have to stop and take a step back and say, you know something? I don't have to pay any attention to what she's doing. I can ignore everything because I like certain parts of my job. So I am going to focus on the parts of my job that I like and ignore the rest. I am going to go to work in a good mood and smiling. I am going to decide that nothing anybody says is going to destabilize me. I know what I am going to do when I get to work. I am going to be pleasant to everyone when I get to work. I am going to do my job and enjoy it. I am choosing. Most important, I am choosing to enjoy what I do. That's your answer, Khadija, the genist. The genist. Yeah. Drop in your questions. I paused in the counting. I am down to 10. I paused in the counting. I'm going to start back again from 10 to 1. And if I see no questions, I am going to leave. You're very welcome, Khadija. Change, we don't like change. Huh? Human beings don't like change, but change is a fact of life. There's no choice. We got to work with what we have, right? And if you follow those steps, you will see that you really do begin to see things differently, and you start to think about them differently. And then you will realize that, you know, You see that bitch who was giving me all those problems? Or that man who was giving me so much whatever? They are the ones who have a problem. And they were taking it out on my ass. And I'm being very blunt to get the message across. That is how it works. Because people seem to believe employees have this weird idea that the bosses don't have problems, that the bosses don't have a personal life, that the bosses just come to work to get on their case. That is not the situation at all. So, once you understand that they are human beings, that they are people, and they have stuff that they are dealing with as well, you can take a step back. You can start to look at them differently, and you can decide, you know, I'm going to work to earn my pay. And if you really want to leave, while you're earning your pay, you can start looking for other jobs as well and leave in your own time. That's the way it works. Okay, I'm down to 3. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to leave. 3, 2, 1. Okay, people. I see there are 6 people on, but only 1 person asked a question. That was Khadija. I see there are 8 people on now. Ask your questions now in this live reading. So while I wait, what else can I share with you? So I spoke about drawing boundaries, which is saying no, not quarreling, not arguing, not remonstrating, not saying, but why did you and why can't you, and all that trap and that trap, all that crap and tralala. Let's stick on this boundaries business, because you see, women have a problem. Too many women have problems creating boundaries. I have a problem with that. Drop in your 5-word questions, ladies. Stop giving your power away, ladies. You have to say no and mean it. When somebody does something that displeases you, you have to open your mouth and say it. You have to decide what you're going to tolerate and what you will not. And when I say tolerate, it must never be to your detriment. So when stuff is falling, you have to step back and say, you know something? I don't like this. I don't appreciate this. Hey, whoever it is, you need to clean that up. You need to fix that mess. You need to do whatever. And do not go back on what you say. This is something that women do too frequently. The man makes a mess in the kitchen and he knows that you don't like a dirty kitchen. Unless you agreed, it's his responsibility to clean it up. Unless you all have an arrangement that he cooks and you clean, or you clean and he cooks, or you put the stuff in the dishwasher, fine. But other than that, do not go back on your word. If somebody does something to disrespect you, you speak up and you say, hey, you know, I don't appreciate that. Please don't do it again. I find it quite, and you could say disgusting, whatever. Someone comes to you and they tell you something that you find disrespectful. You can turn the tables immediately by turning to them immediately and saying, are you disrespecting me? Or you repeat their words back to them. What does that mean? Or are you trying to make me feel bad? Those 3 responses are going to make the person step back immediately, because that is not a typical response, but you must make those things a typical response. Okay, people, I see no other questions, so I am leaving and I am going to say namaste, ciao, and remember, follow me for more and sign up to the 30 Days to Thrive and change your life, discover your amazingness. Ciao.